cloudy but 80 degrees. America's game of the week in a big one today inside the NFC South. The Saints at 5-7, the Buccaneers at 7-5, tied atop the division with Atlanta, and winners of 4 in a row under head coach Dirk Cutter in his first year. Took over for Lovie Smith and for Sean Payton, 52 years old, a native of Naperville, Illinois, in his 10th year with the Saints, coming off a very disappointing loss last week at home against Detroit. Alongside Charles Davis, Chris Spielman, and Peter Schrager, Tom Brenneman, delighted to have you with us for America's Game of the Week in Tampa. Josh Huff just activated this week, and he'll watch it bounce off the goalpost. And after New Orleans won the toss, Tampa Bay will get the football. Let's check in downstairs. A lot happening to talk about. Peter Schrager.
Thank you, Tom. Jameis Winston's going to be out with his number 2 receiver, Adam Humphries. He's ruled out with concussion. Look for Josh Huff, who you just mentioned. Maybe Russell Shepard and Freddie Martino to step up. As for the Saints, they are without Craig Robertson, their middle linebacker. They're also without Michael Thomas, their best receiver. And now a late scratch. Max Unger, the center, is out as well. Drew Brees and Jameis Winston going to do it up against it without some key parts.
Jameis Winston, 22 years young, out of Hueytown, Alabama. As a redshirt freshman, led Florida State to a BCS national championship. 2 years later, the number 1 pick in the draft. And from play number 1, delivers a beautiful pass. And what a catch made by Russell Shepard.
And Roman Harper makes a tackle, who's replacing Kenny Vaccaro, and Shepard's going to come in. And this is trust between Jamison and his wide receiver. Throw that 50-50 ball, and the toughness and concentration to hang on. Beautiful.
Kenny Vaccaro deciding to drop the appeal of a 4-game suspension over PEDs. They just found out on Friday they made that decision. He would not appeal. Cutting it back to the inside. They're hoping healthy for this stretch run is Doug Martin. But the man here in Tampa Bay, and make no debate about it, since they made him a number 1 pick in the draft, Charles Davis, last year, is Jameis Winston, and he is rolling.
And unlike the quarterbacks that were drafted this year at the top, in Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, he was drafted to be the starter from day 1. It took about 2 days of practice to move him to that spot, and he's not going to move out of it for the next 10 to 12 years.
Need of 6 on first down into the hands of Martin again, and he's thrown to the deck behind the line of scrimmage. Former number 1 pick of the Lions, Nick Fairley, on the stop. 3rd down upcoming.
Take a look at this Tampa Bay offense, and I think a key guy is going to be Mike Evans today. He's turned into quite the target for Jameis Winston, and he'll be followed all game long by number 40, Delvin Breaux of the New Orleans Saints, except if they line Mike Evans in the slot. If he goes in the slot, it'll be interesting to see how New Orleans tries to defend him, and I believe he's in there right now.
We saw Gosder Sherless. He is starting at right tackle for DeMar Dotson. A 3rd down throw, and through the hands of the intended target, the tight end Cameron Brate. So after a first down on a 17-yard pass play, it's 3 more and then punt it.
Well, the cover skills of a safety in Von Bell. He has corner cover skills playing safety, and Brate does not use his strength or size to separate. Excellent ball placement by Jameis Winston, and Bell with the coverage. Brate's got to make that catch. That's a drop.
The Buccaneers have not been in the playoffs since 2007. And this is by far the biggest December game the Buccaneers have played at home since their last trip to the playoffs. This is a huge game. Normally, Brian Anger is among the very best at pinning teams inside the 20. With a 52-yard punt, and here comes the ageless one. 37 years young is Drew Brees. He leads the NFL in touchdown passes and passing yards, 3rd down completions percentage. What a year again.
And so much of that is preparation, and how he takes care of himself in the offseason, and how much he absolutely loves to play the game. He has not gotten tired of the little things that go into playing quarterback, which is one reason he's still successful.
30 touchdowns against 11 interceptions, although he did not throw a touchdown pass in the loss to Detroit last week. That's Mark Ingram. who's closing in on a career best season, but playing through an injured toe along with a sore knee.
And I'm glad we just brought him up. You just brought him up, Tom, because we're spotlighting him here today. Mark Ingram has had one of those up and down years. Had some down moments with some key fumbles, some up moments with some big games. They need a big game out of him today. They just ran the ball 12 times last week against Detroit. That's not nearly enough in order to run an effective offense.
Second down, and met head on behind the line of scrimmage is Ingram, and that's Keith Tandy. Tandy starting again for the injured Chris Conti at the free safety spot.
Yeah, Tandy was big against the run, and also another guy that has to play well today, Levante David. The past 3 weeks has caused 3 turnovers. He needs to get into a rhythm, just like quarterbacks. Linebackers need to get to the rhythm and see the game.
And now they brought in their pass rushing unit. He's got to look for Noah Spence, number 57, off the edge.
Lay it off out of the backfield to Kuhn, and he is upended. Beautifully done by the rookie Hargraves. Boy, what a nice year he's starting to put together.
Well, he does a good job of staying patient in his coverage, understanding where down in distance is, getting deepest to take away anything that's a threat outside. An excellent open field tackle, and the fact that he keeps his head up. First of all, safety first, then he wraps his arms and brings his feet. Outstanding job by Vernon Hargraves. Discipline and confidence is what Vernon's had going for the past few weeks.
Coming away by Morstead, and this is Hargraves. They put him back there to return punts with all the injuries they have had. And so here we are. It's wonderful to have you with us for America's Game of the Week. He's Charles Davis. He's Chris Spielman. We're also joined by Peter Schrager. I'm Tom Brenneman. And you can't emphasize enough, Charles, how critically important this game is for both teams, especially though Tampa Bay, winners of 4 in a row.
Well, you talked about at the top, Tom. This is a playoff game, whether it's not the actual playoffs or not. This is a playoff game for both of these teams to try and get themselves in position. Tampa Bay is already there, tied for first. New Orleans, Chris, they've got some work to do. They can't afford to let another one get away.
And you mentioned the key for them is running the football. That helps Drew Brees. Last week, they only kept the ball for 23 minutes against the Lions, and that was killer.
First down, Winston to throw it, and it's incomplete. And he takes a big hit. He's jawing with somebody down there after that incompleted pass. Let's check in for the first time with our good friend back in Los Angeles. So far away is Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. We're actually going to stay in Los Angeles. Not the start the Rams want, fumbling the opening kickoff. So Matt Ryan capitalizes with a 3-yard touchdown to Justin Hardy. Of course, the Bucs and the Falcons tied atop the NFC South. We will keep you updated on this one all day. Tom?
Carissa, thank you very much. Early movement along the left side of that line. It looked like Panfield started.
12 start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, it's a fellow next to him that started too early. That was Donovan Smith. It looked like Winston and Fairley were the two jawing at one another on that first down throw.
You know, Fairley's working on Panfield and comes in, and you see Kruger it's a little late, and Fairley's holding that ankle, and I can understand. And the offensive lineman actually should be there in Fairley's face. That's one guy you want to protect. Not get in a fight, not do anything stupid, but show that you got his back.
Second down, good protection. Now Winston flushed out of the pocket, still looking. And he can run much better than he's given credit for. And that'll be a penalty flag. That is a silly, silly penalty by a guy who's been around for 11 years and has been an outstanding player during it in Roman Harper.
And he hasn't played a lot this year, and sometimes I think rust accumulates and eagerness because he's actually getting to play
Personal
today.
foul, unnecessary roughness, number 41, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Roman Harper was a starter last year for Carolina. Now he's had to come off the bench, and he's had to get the start today because of Kenny Vaccaro taking the suspension. And look at Winston. Look at the ball fakes, Chris. See how he does that? That holds the secondary because they're not quite sure if he's going to throw it, gains him extra yardage, and then Harper unable to pull off and over the top, and the flag comes out.
And the other thing you'll see the growth in Jameis Winston is his patience in the pocket. There's no panic, and even when he was scrambling out before he made the decision to run, he made it at the very last second to keep his eyes downfield.
Left to the run. It's an automatic first down, along with a penalty tacking on yards, and that's a 2-yard carry by Martin, wrapped up by Davidson. You know, Martin had the incredible rookie year, was injured, only played in 17 total games the next 2 years. Then, boy, did he hit the home run ball a season ago, over 1,400 rushing yards. But again, the injury bug has caught up with him. He's missed half of their games, but if he's healthy to go to the Final Four, look out. Gunned over the middle. Very close to a first down on the completion to Cameron Brate. Well, we welcome those of you who caught the end of that Miami-Arizona game. Miami very much still in the playoff hunt with a 3-point win. And Charles Davis, Chris Peelman, Peter Schrager, and Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. Tom Brenneman, where the Buccaneers under Dirk Cutter are 7-5. They have won 4 in a row. First time they've won 4 straight since 2012, and they're on the move. Their second possession. They pitch it to Martin. Sheds 1 tackle. Flags come flying in from the secondary. And he's inside the 30. That would be a gain of almost 8, but we wait on the flag.
I think this was going to come back. There's a hold in there.
Holding, number 95, defense. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
I had it on the wrong side. Tyler Davison, somewhere right in here. I believe that is him. Let's see what happens as the play goes away. He's pursuing down the line. See how he's holding the offensive lineman? Trying to hold him so he can't get to the second level and block the linebackers, Chris.
Well, you know what? That's doing a good job being the next linebacker, but you can't be so blatant about it. You have to hold that as long as you can.
And let it go.
Then let it go. And trust that your linebacker will outrun him if you disrupt his path to the linebacker. See right there, Josh Huff was in motion.
Start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's 2 penalties already on the second-round pick a year ago out of Penn State, Donovan Smith.
And Josh Huff was brought in and activated because he has a little juice, a little excitement, a little explosion. Something that these wide receivers weren't known for, and he's got a part in this game because he can go the distance. He has great speed and the ability to make something happen with the ball in his hands.
Let's go.
Charles Sims is checked into the game for the first time. They're looking at him in the end zone. And it's incomplete. He was out of bounds. Boy, Sims really had a nice season for these Buccaneers last year. Caught 51 passes out of the backfield. He's back for the first time since early October.
And that was his talent when he came out of college. He just continues to work on that. A running back who's gotten better at running inside, but his real forte, in space, split out, all the way wide at times, where he runs it downfield like a wide receiver.
And he's working on Stephon Anthony, who's in for Craig Robertson, the injured middle linebacker. And Stephon Anthony's weakness is his cover skills.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94, defense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, that was Cameron Jordan trying to get an early start. He leads his team with 5 sacks. And boy, he's an Iron Man up there. His 93rd consecutive start since being drafted out of Cal.
Did you see the experience there of Gazder Sherilis? He's getting the start today. Formerly a starter, right, in the league. Hadn't played much lately, but as soon as he got some movement, he jumped as well to make sure the referees got the attention.
Winston. Dangerous throw there, read beautifully again by the rookie out of Ohio State, Von Bell.
This is so nice by Von Bell because he's going to have flat coverage. See him buzz right to the flat. He takes away the outside short route, then has the vision in the burst to break it away from Martino. And that's why he's there. I mean, he has corner coverage skills. That's what's his strength at Ohio State. And also, he's a very good tackler in open field.
One of those hybrid players we're all looking for, the ability to do more than one thing.
The 3rd down and 10. Great protection, and down the middle of the field, a little too tall for Evans. He had a wide open receiver who has 76 catches already for better than 1,000 yards.
So watch Evans down to, he's going to end up breaking to the middle, and look at the pincer that comes there. 31 inside Jarris Byrd and 40 over the top Delvin Breaux, making it very difficult to finish because he has it in his hands, but he has to know those guys are coming. And he's trying to get his hands down to protect himself, and it goes awry.
Well, the second-round pick, the rookie out of Florida State, Roberto Aguayo, got off to a terrible start. He's been on a pretty good roll here lately. And they're going to need this rookie kicker down the stretch, 41 yards out. And he is true right down the middle. A big game in the NFC South. Can Breeze and the Saints answer when we come back?
He stood over here with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
A lot of excitement here in the greater Tampa Bay area. Buccaneers tied for first going into play today atop the NFC South with the Atlanta Falcons, who are out to a 7-0 lead in Los Angeles over the Rams. This is Tommy Lee Lewis, a couple of yards out of his own end zone, and not a good decision. Shot down at the 17. 3 and out the first go round for Breeze and the Saints. They'll get it when we come back.
Bud Light, strike gold and you can win Super Bowl tickets for life.
Welcome back to Tampa. 3-0 Buccaneers in front. Breeze under center from the 16. Ingram dropped behind the line of scrimmage, and that's one of the many playmakers, but perhaps a headline act on this Buccaneer defense, Levante David.
All right, here's Levante. There's going to be a double team on Gerald McCoy. Now watch, as the double team comes, that frees up Levante David as Streif, number 64, the offensive tackle, could not get to him and get his job. And when you cause double teams, you might not make the plays as defensive lineman, but you free up linebackers to make plays.
Of course, David scored the key touchdown interception return last week in San Diego, and that's Cooks. Out across the 20, they'll spot it at the 22. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Saints.
I think for this Saints offense, guys, for them to be efficient as Sean Payton right there is calling plays, Brandon Cooks has to be a main factor. You have to have, in that big chart right there, that big old chart, there's got to be about 15 touches for Brandon Cooks because he's that explosive.
And written over the top, Brandon Cooks, at all costs, find him, right? Sean Payton now calling plays again in recent weeks.
Breeze under heavy pressure, and it's incomplete. There's contact down there, and a penalty flag will be thrown on Brent Grimes in coverage of Brandon Coleman. I think it's pretty fortunate right there. There was contact because it looked like Breeze's arm was hit as he threw, and it was underthrown.
Pass interference, number 16, offense.
Oh, it's the other way.
Decline, 4th down.
Wow.
So sometimes the coverage is so good that a receiver ends up having to try and go through a defensive back, thinking that the contact will always go against the DB. But watch it to the outside here. Okay, watch Coleman as he works through. Good coverage there, and Coleman trying to get to the football, but because Brent Grimes had his head back towards the ball, the official gave him the benefit of the doubt on that call.
Back-to-back 3 and outs for the Saints, and that is so rare against this New Orleans offense led by Drew Brees. Jameis back under center in a moment.
Chevrolet, more 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. By the new Bacon King sandwich, only at Burger King. And by K Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K.
Sunshine, Skyway, bright sunshine yesterday. We were expecting sunshine today, Mr. Davis. I'm going to get on you being ready yes. About that in a minute. Back-to-back 3 and out. 3rd fewest number of those for this New Orleans Saints offense this year among all teams in the NFL.
Back-to-back slow starts in these last 2 weeks, Detroit. And now today against Tampa Bay for that offense.
Patiently running is Martin, and that's a good solid carry. A gain of 9 on 1st down.
So when you have an overload, kind of an unbalanced look right here, that's an offensive tackle. What you have to do as a defense is get people moving that way, because chances are about 99.9% on 1st down, you got to guess and anticipate as a defense to get your defense over one gap. That's the game within the game, and that's recognition and putting your guys in a position to win.
Well, they spot it at the 33, so it's a gain of 8. They'll run it again. And again, it's Martin, and this time it's good enough for a first down. And once more, let's check in with Carissa Thompson back in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. Good news, bad news for the Dolphins. That successful 21-yard field goal gets them a win over the Cardinals and puts them in 6th seed in the AFC. But Ryan Tannehill left the game with a knee injury. Tom, Charles, Chris, and Peter.
Pouring down rain there.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. Luckily, they have Matt Moore, who has experience in this league and understands how to run their offense. They may have to do some adjusting if it's a long-term injury.
Busy start for Martin and couldn't tiptoe away from Cameron Jordan. He'll be dropped for a loss of a pair.
Looked to me like the defensive front here did such a good job of stacking things up. Watch Doug Martin. He had to chop his feet in the backfield. Notice those earlier runs. See, he's trying to jump cut, find a hole. Remember the earlier runs, Chris? A little bit of a hole there. One step, he got right to it. Got upfield. In this case, he couldn't find the hole. They made him stutter, and Cameron Jordan, who I think is having a Pro Bowl season, despite not having the sack numbers, he's having a monster year. Played that one awfully well.
He's been to the Pro Bowl twice in his career. Jameis, a pump fake, and throws on the run, gets it off to Brate, the tight end. What a story Brate has been out of Harvard. He actually spent 1 week on the New Orleans practice squad last year. Tampa Bay scooped him up, and that is his 49th reception of this season.
And that's a comfort level for Jameis, and Cameron Brate has proven reliable. And anytime you're a quarterback and you get in trouble, you're scrambling, you look for your reliable guy, the guy that you can count on. And 84 is that guy for Jameis Winston.
And you know how he's become reliable? Before and after sessions at practice with Jameis Winston. Him, Adam Humphries, a number of other guys getting comfortable with each other.
Quick slant to the aforementioned Brate. Breaks a tackle, and he's inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. They'll move the chains.
So Von Bell, we talked about how good a cover guy. Now, cover guy, you can't lose your feet. If you lose your feet, there's no excuse. You're too good of an athlete, and there, right there, he slips. Field conditions are fine. If you're playing out on the edge as a corner, you better not lose your feet because it's a big-time play. Now, they set up a play, something to look forward to. Josh Huff was in the backfield. They snuck him out to the flat, so everything is a setup. Just remember that in a matchup.
It's an 18-yard gain. That's 6 first downs for the Buccaneers. New Orleans without a single one. Martin off the left side, churning those feet inside the 35, down to the 33. Checking downstairs with Peter Schrager.
Brate's a Harvard graduate, Tom. Now, this is a guy who was with the Bucs, and like you mentioned, he was then with the Saints. It broke GM Jason Light's heart that he was on the Saints for a week. Austin Seferian-Jenkins goes down. They sign him to the active roster. He's been the most reliable target since. It's a matter of timing sometimes, guys.
We're not lying about that.
Timing and taking advantage of that opportunity. Brate has put in the work and has Jameis Winston trusting him.
Charles Sims, his first carry since he was injured in early October. You know, we mentioned not only the 51 receptions last year for Sims, he also carried for over 500 yards to go along with a 1,400 by Martin.
Yeah, he was over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, so that's an excellent 1-2 punch in the backfield. A couple plays ago, my partner Chris Spielman actually drew on your screen to show you the extra offensive lineman that comes into play often for Tampa Bay in the early down situations. They're running a number of different formations, a number of looks in New Orleans early in this game.
Wide open down the middle of the field, and that is a first down to the 20-yard lines, and that's Evans.
Well, we talk about this all the time, and what we're going to get here is level passing. And Jameis Winston has to have time. Now watch the 3 levels. Freeze it right there. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. When you have these guys jump the underneath guy, this guy covering dirt, it's an easy pitch and catch and recognition between Jameis and the receiver where the weakness of the zone is and setting it down.
His 23rd catch on a 3rd down. And this is Huff. You just mentioned that a moment ago, Chris Spielman. Huff began his career in Philadelphia. They cut him loose after being arrested on gun and marijuana charges and now getting a second chance in his career. This young man's been blessed with some talent now. He can play.
And again, I hopefully he got his act together, but you get second chances. The more talent you have, the more chances you get.
No doubt.
And that's truth. I'm sorry. That's truth. And he's a talented dude that can do some things in the open field when he has the ball in his hands.
Did you just say dude?
Yeah, he is.
He is a dude trying to tackle him, that's for sure.
Back shoulder throw looking for Evans, and there's contact in the corner of the end zone. Flag comes down. That's Bro with it. We were surprised a moment ago on offensive pass interference, but this one going against the D.
This one should be pretty easy because Delvin Bro never, ever spots the football.
We're at the 1. Pass interference, number 40, defense. First down at the 1-yard line.
And
Number 66 is reporting as eligible.
Watch Bro's helmet. The reason I say that is, remember, did you see the back of his helmet towards Jameis Winston? When Jameis saw the back of his helmet, he knew he couldn't really make a play on the football. So he turned it loose to Mike Evans to let Mike Evans make a play. Instead, it turns into interference.
Trust your position. You didn't have to hold right there. He grabbed the jersey.
From the 1-yard line. Driven backwards is Martin on 1st and goal, and that's Anthony. Stephon Anthony started at middle linebacker the entire year last year. They bring in Craig Robertson, who is hurt and inactive after a shoulder injury last week, so Anthony's back to his original position.
And that play there is why he was drafted high. The ability to be a downhill thumper from the middle linebacker position, that's his strength, and he just played to it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers banging on the door of a 10-0 advantage. It's 3-0 at the end of a quarter. Back after a word from your local Fox station. 11 play this drive spanning 73 yards. Second down and goal for the Bucs at the 2-yard line. Throw to the back of the end zone, incomplete. So now third down and goal. Oh, a penalty flag is in.
First of all, that's good discipline by the Saints, because on 2nd and goal, it's alert play action every single time.
Pass interference, number 50, defense. Foul occurred in the end zone. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
And that was a foul away from the intended receiver.
Yeah, Stephon Anthony, again, the linebacker. As great as he is a downhill thumper, the pass coverage is where he struggles the most. Let's see what happens here. There's Anthony in the middle. He's going to end up picking up someone, I'm sure, right there. And you see, he got beat on the play. That was the problem, because Myers beat him, and then he grabbed him because he panicked.
Give it to Martin. And he dives forward and gets into the end zone. A touchdown for Doug Martin.
You know the interesting thing, Charles?
The play should have been dead in the backfield.
I write a note down about every single player that we do. And my note for Martin, all you get is all he has. And he gives it to you every single time, because he's going to be able to break a tackle in the backfield, but he has determination and strength and a will to get into the end zone. All you get is all he has every single time he has the ball in his hands.
And he runs through the attempted tackle by David Onyemata, number 93. And then Darryl Tapp had a second opportunity, and he stepped through that one as well. Small, compact, strong, getting his legs back under him after the hamstring injury sidelined him for a bunch of this season.
And Wynn handed that ball to a little boy sitting in the front row behind the Buccaneers bench. Going after by Aguayo is good. Oh, Merry Christmas, young man. 10-0 Buccaneers after the Martin touchdown.
The all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level.
Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. First time the Buccaneers have been tied for a division lead after 13 weeks since 2008. And they're out to a 10-0 lead. Twice 3 and out for the Saints on offense. Meanwhile, Doug Martin playing the role of Santa Claus. Well done. Drew Brees signed as a free agent with the Saints in 2006. You have just witnessed The all-time low since he arrived for total yards in a first quarter by a Saints offense.
Need to throw on first down to get him in rhythm.
He will throw on first down. And it's caught by Cooks. And a penalty flag comes in from the secondary after the catch is made up to the 33.
So we were talking in the break. We talked about in the break about 6 plays on offense in the first quarter. They ran the ball twice on first down. When you have a Hall of Fame quarterback and there's no rhythm.
Face mask, number 54, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You have to change it up. You cannot force the running game. I've always believed you have to throw to run, especially the way they were playing 8-man fronts. You see the face mask right here on Brandon Cooks. But that's how you get a guy in rhythm. Go a little tempo. You throw on first down. You spread him out. You get the ball out of his hands in a hurry.
And they got the extra yardage at the end of the play, which is not normal because it's a penalty. And you see Mike Smith, the defense coordinator of Tampa. But yards after catch is built into the New Orleans offense. They will need that from their receivers today.
They're missing a big weapon in the rookie Michael Thomas. Big shot delivered by Tandy, but able to hang on to the football is Brandon Coleman.
Watch the guard pull. This pulls the guard to get him out of the throwing lane, so you have this area open. This is a well-designed play. You see the pulling guard? Quan Alexander follows the pulling guard, and that creates a nice window. Coleman and Breeze. Well-executed play. Now that's rhythm, and that's play calling right there.
A trap pass.
That's beautiful.
Empty backfield. They didn't get the playoff in time. The question is, did they get the timeout?
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Sean Payton took over play calling again a couple of games ago, and he and Drew Brees could not be more in sync throughout their career. But right now, this offense is not in sync. And they're trying to find a way. Chris was talking about, do they need to throw more on first down? Get in rhythm that way? I think that's the direction they're going to head. But Chris was talking about put in Drew Brees' hands and see what they can get done.
Well, Brees did not throw a touchdown pass in a home game last week for the first time since 2009. And that one is tipped and then intercepted. It looked like Alexander tipped the ball into the arms of Hargraves. And a turnover after it looked like the Saints had something going.
By KFC's new $10 chicken share, a bucket for 2. KFC is finger licking good.
This has been a ball-hawking defense for Tampa Bay during this 4-game win streak. Buccaneers getting 2 or more takeaways in each of those victories. First down and the carry to Sims. And let's go back to the interception a moment ago.
Chris, when I first saw it, I thought it was too deep, and this was like the original Tampa 2, right? The linebacker running down the pipe. But what happens is Tandy becomes a robber, and it becomes 3 deep coverage. And watch Quan Alexander still runs down the middle, gets his head around, and tips the ball to Hargraves, who makes a play on it. Nice disguise, nice coverage by the Buccaneers.
It was a late show, which confused Drew Brees.
Winston steps away from trouble, spins away from one tackle, is still on his feet, and is finally driven down after a gain of 2 at the 45-yard line by Von Bell.
It's great coverage. Good protection, too, by the way, by Tampa Bay, but there's nowhere to throw the football. Guys are jumping routes, not covering dirt. You see Jameis Winston working. Not panicking, keeping his eyes downfield. Now, the one thing I would tell him when he comes off the field, go down and protect yourself. You're too valuable to take shots.
It's a 3rd down and 3. And Winston gets rid of it in time. Is that a catch up to the 45? Saints are saying no. Evans is saying yes. And it is a first down. They're not going to give him a chance to look at it, and unless Payton wants to challenge it, they're hurrying up to the line of scrimmage.
On as fast as they can to get that play in. They actually caught the Saints in a change before it was whistled dead. Saints were trying to actually change personnel, and they
Prior
caught
to
him.
the snap, New Orleans calls its first charge timeout.
That's a smart call by Sean Payton right there, and not just because of maybe the possible challenge, but they were disorganized. And when you're disorganized on defense, then you can give up big plays. And Mike Evans, using his big body, catching that ball with his hands. Yeah, I think that's a catch. I think his hands get underneath.
We'll get a better look at it here from the front side. Ball actually was contested, tipped, held on. He's got a hand underneath it. Yes, he's hitting the ground, but his hand's underneath it as well. Delvin Breaux competing with him, but I think that goes down as a catch.
How about the strength? How about the strength, guys, of Mike Evans? I mean, that's what he does. Well, he started slow this year. He really did. And then he just turned it on, and he and Jameis got it going, and they trust and believe in each other.
Averaging last 7 games, he has 44 receptions.
And averaging 12 targets per game. Right. 12 times per game. They're putting the ball towards him, and they are maximizing with that.
So first down, they pitch it to Sims. Spelling Mark. Hey, this guy's a nice player, Sims. He brings another element to this Tampa Bay offense, and that's a gain of 12 on the first down run.
And how about Gosder Sherless, number 78? The veteran getting out and pulling as an offensive tackle. Myers gets the block, and that's tough to block a safety in space or a corner in Sterling Moore. Gosder Sherless doesn't go for the kill shot. That's smart. You don't need to kill him, because if you kill him, those guys will make you miss. If you go in under control and body him away, that's good enough.
As big as Sherless is, he doesn't need to kill him. Just envelop him, and that's what he did on that one.
His shadow envelops him. Sims nowhere to run this time. You know, Sherless was a regular starter in Detroit. And it really gets back to this entire sort of evolution of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster. You know, you hear the term all the time about next man up, and we can get into so many areas where that has been the case for this Buccaneers team. But they've done a nice job of not only drafting but developing players, bringing in veterans from other teams that are helping them.
And as you just point out, Sherless, the prime example of that, stepping in today for DeMar Dotson, who's been their normal starter at right tackle.
Dotson suffering a concussion. He's out today in the protocol along with the wide receiver Adam Humphries. Well, that's threading the needle right there by famous Jameis, they call it. And the ball is in a fumble. It is a fumble. Evans turns it over. Now he's going to say the ground caused the fumble. That's what he's pleading his case about. They will, of course, take a look at it as they do on every change of possession.
He's down. His knee is down.
So I think Tampa Bay may benefit from this. He's fighting for the yardage. Bird fighting to knock the ball free. You see the ball's out. But was it out before his knees hit the ground? I thought his knees were down before they came out, Chris. What'd you think?
Absolutely.
How about it, Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles? How do you see it? Well, we're waiting now for Walt Anderson.
The receiver had control of the ball with a knee on the ground in his possession. He was contacted. Players reversed the down by contact. It'll be first down Tampa at the 30-yard line.
Mike Pereira, you're not surprised by that decision, are you?
Not at all. We actually had both knees down. We had right knee and left knee down. You know, does the ball coming out before that? No, he had firm control of it, so they were absolutely correct in making this down by contact.
Mike, is lavender your wife's favorite color?
I think it might be. I haven't anything else that's not lavender, to tell you the truth.
Looking very dapper on this December Sunday.
Always.
13 first downs in this game for Tampa Bay. 1 for the Saints, and that was on a penalty. Martin checks back into the game, and that's a gain of 5 on first down.
I've got to go back to the play with Evans, okay? I think it's the correct call. I'm not fighting that one. But that's a play you saw New Orleans defenders fighting, scratching, clawing, anything to try and knock the ball free and reverse their fortunes, and they thought they got the play. Now, are they able to stay with it mentally after not getting that play, after the overturned play? If I'm Tampa, I'm attacking right now to see if they've still got it.
Downfield?
Yes.
Second down and 5. Fake the throw, little delay to Martin. And he keeps churning away. He's about a yard short of a first down.
Missed a hole. I'm going to tell you, there was a giant hole off to his left, and usually Doug Martin has the patience and vision to see it. But right here, you're going to see this hole open up right here. Now watch. It's a nice little draw play, and you see Anthony going inside. You got a blocker on him. That's the hole. That's the one where he should have hit, and usually he doesn't miss that with the patience.
My 50, my 50. Ready. What's up?
Winston is going to throw it, and it's batted down. Boy, third down in a yard. Look, you can sit here and, you know, question every single call, but when you got it going and back-to-back runs the way they're running it, why are you throwing?
And they showed a real heavy formation. Tackle, 2 tight ends to the right side, trying to fool him a little bit of misdirection, but Von Bell showed up early and really foiled that play.
I think Cameron Brate missed the call because he needs to be about 12 yards on a flag route. He was not, and that forced Jameis to pull it down.
All right, so now a 39-yard field goal try by the rookie out of Florida State, Aguayo. Tell you, this young man's getting on a little bit of a roll now. I mean, he was a second-round pick coming out of Florida State. 13-0 Buccaneers here in the second quarter. Bear in mind, the only first down so far for this New Orleans offense came on a 6-yard completion, but it was a face mask penalty that gave him an automatic first down.
I'd mentioned yards after catch, a huge part of the New Orleans offense. It's built into what they do. Catch the ball, gain extra yardage. They get the most yards after catch, as you just noted, Tom, after the penalty.
Lewis will take a knee. Well, I know you know it, but America's fastest growing sports show is on FS1.
Tomorrow, we debate today's NFL action, and Shannon will continue to disrespect the Cowboys.
They don't hand out rings in December, Skip.
Just keep talking. Undisputed at 9:30 Eastern, FS1.
Well, how about that one later tonight, fellas? The only loss of the Cowboys all year long against the Giants.
Season opener. Yep, season opener. Dak Prescott's first start, Ezekiel Elliott's first start. And since then, they've been on a run. But, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
And the Giants are fighting for their playoff lives. It's a first down carry by Tim Hightower. Well, it's nice to see this young fella back again out of the University of Richmond. You know, he's drafted originally and played so well in Arizona. Starter for 3 years, a dynamic player. Went to Washington, injured his knee, was out of football for 3 years and got a chance last year. Good for him.
We saw him gain 102 yards on the ground against Seattle earlier this year when Mark Ingram got benched.
Breeze threw that one off his back foot. He was under heavy pressure from Gerald McCoy. Yep. And third down coming up.
Yeah, McCoy again, his get off is amazing, but this is not Drew Brees. Drew Brees normally slides his feet, keeps his feet in throwing position. He'll slide his feet over to make that throw. And he does not move his feet. He stays in the vision of Gerald McCoy, forcing him to throw off his back foot in a fadeaway. That's what that guy does. His get off is the best in the business. And the 3 technique.
He won that one early, though. Just went right past Andrews' feet and forced a big play.
And a Snead down the middle of the field, bounced off a tackle, penalty flag comes in. Willie Snead, the 4th, with by far the biggest offensive play of the game for the Saints.
Watch Snead, number 83, breaking out of a small bunch there with Brandon Cooks and Tommy Lee Lewis, and Breeze finds him, takes the hit, stays up, and goes and gets more yardage.
Face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Willie Snead is tough, strong, not afraid to go into the briar patch and catch the football, and will block well in the run game. And Drew Brees hung in there big time on that throw.
It's Ryan Russell, second-year defensive end out of Purdue. He's given them some good play coming off the bench as part of that defensive line rotation.
Especially when they want to go to their pass rushers and bring in an extra guy to get after the quarterback, because they move a lot of those defensive ends like Robert Ayers and Noah Spence. You know, William Goldston, they'll move them inside to work over the guards, and he can come in and play there. Here's the end of the play and the penalty against Snead. Looks like Hargraves, number 28, That's where the face mask foot penalty occurred.
That turns into a 44-yard play. 29, tackle on 15. Hightower, gain of 2.
You guys talked about and mentioned Hightower and how important he's been to this offense. He's been important to Mark Ingram. Ingram got benched in the Seattle game for a fumble on the ball. Games 9 through 13, Ingram started averaging 7.7 yards a carry. You'll do that when you have a guy that is successful in front of you. If you want to hold your job, you're not going to fumble, and you're going to go from 3 yards a carry to 7 yards a carry in a hurry.
Second down. Breeze again under pressure, able to get away. A penalty flag is down. Incomplete with an eye on Coleman.
So one of the big reasons why Tampa Bay has had success.
Number 75, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
And everybody talks it. They get pressure with just 4, so that gives you 7 in coverage. And when you get pressure with just 4, you got an offense that will struggle to throw the ball downfield.
Andrus Peat. They play a little game, and he ends up grabbing Robert Ayers right there, number 91. So they had a little stunt going between Ayers 91 and Clinton McDonald 98. And Peat came off of McDonald to Ayers and got too much of the cloth.
Second down and 18. Screen to Hightower. And back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 coming up. Here's Carissa Thompson.
Think some Bucs fans interested in this one. Atlanta up 14-0 in the second quarter. Jared Goff drops back, intercepted by Deion Jones. He returns it for 33 yards and a score. Falcons lead 21-0. Tom?
The Buccaneers and the Falcons have already played twice this year. And they are tied at 7-5 atop the NFC South going into play today. 3rd down and 10. Snead broke a tackle, but could not get away from Alexander. And out comes the field goal unit.
Remember how we talked about yards after catch and how important that is? So watch Snead come across the middle. They get the completion. And watch what happens at the end. So they've got the completion. He's not able to, he breaks the first tackle, but as he goes for the extra yardage, there's the second guy there to clean things up. Quan Alexander.
Rookie kicker right down the middle. That's another young man starting to kick it better than the way he started in the early part of this season out of Georgia State. So the Saints on the board, down 10. The early game headlines. How about the Lions? They went on their final drive again to beat Chicago, going to 9-4 in the year. Indianapolis at home. A crucial loss to the Texans, who take over first in that division. And the Steelers, they've got it going on. They go to Buffalo and win in the snow.
The Lions has 8 fourth-quarter comebacks. It's amazing what they've done. And it's Matthew Stafford, I think, to me, should be talked about as a top 3 MVP candidate the way he's playing.
It's happening more and more. They win the division, it'll really take off at that point.
That was actually touched, and it's out of bounds inside the 1-yard line rather than just letting that thing go right through the back of the end zone. Huff acted for the first time as a Buccaneer, made contact with the ball, and it goes out of bounds.
And he's an experienced kickoff return guy. Has a 98-yard kickoff return for touchdown early this year for Philadelphia. So this is not something that he's unfamiliar with, but then he got caught on the hops. It's almost like being a shortstop. Do I play it early, or do I let it play me? And it played him and turned into a really tough spot for Tampa Bay.
I'm going to play New Orleans Saints defensive coordinator right now.
Go get him.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. I'm going to put single man on the corners.
Yep.
Play him off just a little bit, and I'm coming after him. I'm taking every gap, and I'm calling this play to win the game, and I'm going for the safety, exposing myself for the deep ball, but I'm going to trust my guys to make a play.
When you made that call in the huddle when you played, Chris, you made the defensive call, and I'll bet you tagged it with get a safety. In other words, swim moves up front, knifing through up front. Don't worry about gaps. get back there and get to the football.
Tom, I made an unauthorized audible.
What do you mean?
I waved off. I gave no, the baseball thing. I waved them off.
Apparently we're having some debate about the clock. The clock continued or never started or rolled after the ball was out of bounds. They just get it to.
And we did get the safety, but it also cost me $2,500. It was well worth it. I'd do it all over.
Points.
You waved it off.
Yeah.
And you saw Walt Anderson there. Remember, official time's kept by the referee, so he got the clock fixed the way that he wanted it.
Sunday. Here we go.
They did it. They did it.
They did it. Now did they get to safety? Did they get the safety?
Yes.
Is the question they did.
That's playing to win. And Kruger was in there, number 99, from a stand-up position. Look at all the guys on the line of scrimmage. There are 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. Kruger shoots in there, number 99, gets the penetration, and I think that's not a safe. Ooh.
It's close.
That
It's
is
awful close.
Boy, I tell you.
And remember, they called it a safety on the field, so it's going to be hard to me to overturn that call originally. That was well played by Kruger, as you noted, Chris. Onyemata, number 93, following up. But watch this. Kruger with the first hit, and Martin trying desperately to get out of there. Let's take a look.
And the whole
Where's the
ball
football?
has to be in the end zone, right?
Yes.
I think he's
and
out.
It looks like he's over the goal line.
And they are going to take a look at it. And they do every scoring play. Every
Yes.
turnover and every scoring play. And, of course, the safety being a scoring play.
Listen, no matter how this one turns out, just as Chris Spielman described it, that's what you do with defensive football. You got a chance backed up there. You actually call that as a defense. Get a safety. Don't worry about just holding gaps and holding people up. Get into the backfield and get to them. Mike Pereira, what do you think?
Another one of these really close plays here, but, when you are taking the ball out of the end zone, you have to get the entire ball out of the end zone into the field of play. And I don't think he does. I don't think it's indisputable that he does. Remember, going in, you just have to break the plane. Going out, you have to get the entire ball out. So I think this probably stays as a safety.
Mike, is this one of those where the reason it was called on the field that way, and as you just said, I heard you use the word indisputable. You don't see the indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field.
I just don't. I mean, Dino and replay use clear and obvious, and I don't see that.
On the field of a safety stands.
There you have it. So a 2-point play to make it a 13-5 game. Of course, Tampa Bay's played the game this year with 5 points already when they did that to Seattle. That's rare.
So I know that was a surprise there a little bit because of what Mike thought was going to happen. But all year long, what has Mike said to us, guys? The call on the field is paramount, right?
Yep.
So if they make a definitive call on the field, if they don't see absolute evidence to overturn it, they stay with the call on the field, and I believe that's what happened there.
And a chance to set up great field position if you're disciplined. And one thing you don't want to have is a stupid penalty on this return if you're the Saints. Short kick.
And it will go out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds. Tampa Bay, New Orleans ball at the 50-yard line. First down.
Boy, you talk about 3 plays in this game. Josh Huff fielding the kickoff, the safety, now punting it out of bounds. Wow. Well, this Wednesday, from the producer of Empire, follow 3 talented singers as they struggle to find fame. Star, featuring Queen Latifah, Benjamin Bratt, and Lenny Kravitz. Special premiere after the Empire Fall finale starting at 8 Eastern on Fox.
So if you're Tampa Bay's defense, now you have to alert anything over the top on first down. New Orleans could take a shot here, so you have to be careful and not get beat deep.
They give it to Ingram. And he didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1. The first guy there to spin him down was McCoy.
Yeah, he's a beast inside. I mean, you can see why he's a Pro Bowl guy. And what they have to do, they're going to have to start doubling to him up to the next level because he's killing the run game with penetration.
Saints have run it 4 times for less than a yard per carry. Making the catch and able to spin away from a tackle and get a first down is Travaris Cadet out of the backfield.
It's poor angle by Hargraves. You're the outside defender. By no means does that ball go outside of you. You're the last man in contain. And where's the help coming from? The help is always, see, the cavalry's coming from the inside, not the outside. That's just poor discipline, and he'll learn as a rookie. That ball needs to go back inside. First of all, make the tackle, then force it inside.
Play action on first down, and Brees looking for the bundle down the middle of the field, and he overthrows a wide open Brandon Cooks. That is rare to see Brees miss an open receiver.
And that's when you know something's wrong with the Saints offense. It's first good protection up front right here, but Brandon Cook gets a clean release, and he catches Tandy turned around as a safety, outruns him, and that's a rare miss by Drew Brees.
And he knew it. You can see at the end of the play there.
Well, you wouldn't mind seeing Cooks leave his feet.
Yeah,
He's got
I agree.
A little air there. Let him run under it.
High tower, powerful running from the former Richmond Spider down to the 32-yard line.
Hey, you know, we talk about guys running to prove something, running to win. There's another reason why guys run hard and run angry, like Hightower, and that's incentives. I mean, yards equal money. See, if he gets 78 yards today, that's another $75,000 in your pocket. Now, that's not a lot of money to you and Charles, Tom, but to me, that's a lot of money. And that's incentives.
And don't forget, he negotiated his own contract this year.
It's tip money for Charles. That's inside the 25 and a catch by Coleman. So now all of a sudden there is life in the Saints after a couple of, you know, really it was a disappointment. They get 3 their last drive. But then the complete disaster misplayed by Huff on the kickoff. You get the safety on the next play. A punter kicks the ball out of bounds to put you in midfield to begin a drive.
And they have 4 new defensive linemen in too. Gives guys a break.
Looking for Ingram as soon as that ball was snapped, and Levante David not fooled. Looked like McDougal got a paw on that thing, blitzing from a strong safety position. Second down and 10 for the Saints at the Tampa Bay 23. Ingram, good running room. About a yard short of a first down, and we send it back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. We head to Green Bay. They're up 14-3 in the second quarter, and Aaron Rodgers adding to that total a 9-yard touchdown to Jets. Jordy Nelson has them up 21-3. Tom?
How about that?
That's another team fighting for a playoff spot. Seattle, I think they probably feel like they've all but cemented a spot. You know how it is with a team needing it more than another one.
Third down in the yard, they give it to Kuhn, and that's the guy they normally get it to. Although it didn't work all that well last week, they're still lamenting the fact that third and short, they were unable to deliver the goods. Speaking of Green Bay Packers, Kuhn, a long-time fan favorite there. Well, they're going to measure. All right, let me jump ahead of the curve. If you don't get the first down here, are you kicking the field goal to make it 13-8?
I'm keeping it in the hands of Drew Brees and finding a way to take a shot at this one. I mean, my momentum, needing a win, haven't been in sync as well on offense until now, late in this part of the game. I'm not kicking a field goal here. Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm not kicking it.
Yeah, I actually hate myself for saying this, and I want to punch myself.
You're going to kick a field goal.
Right in the
God, the way you badmouth kickers.
You're going to kick a field goal?
I want points on the road in the red zone and get it to 13-8.
And one thing that you have to keep in mind with Drew Brees, He will scan and look, and if he thinks he can get the sneak, he'll go ahead and do it. They're 8 of 9 on 4th downs this season and converted their last 6 attempts. They feel like they've got to have this one.
Well, look, when you're 2 games back with 4 to play, Saints need to win out. And they'll have a little extra time to reconsider if they so choose, because we have reached a 2-minute warning.
Now I don't have to punch myself in the neck, at least for another 3 minutes.
Not yet.
I know some former kickers like to punch you for saying that. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. The Saints are going for it appears, on 4th down.
If they like their call, they'll go quick. If not, they'll go long count, see if they can draw them off.
That's Breeze over the top. Did he get enough? It will be very, very close.
Remember, we said before, Drew Brees will scan, and if he thinks he can get there, he will. I've seen him do it before. I saw him do it against Miami years ago in this state. We saw it against Seattle earlier this year on the goal line. Drew Brees, if he likes the look, he'll go over the top and try and pick it up, and it appears he just did it again.
They're actually lucky that they didn't get away with the legal motion.
You talking about Hillis?
Hillis coming across is moving forward on that snap.
Excuse me, Hills.
Hills, excuse me.
All right, so now 1st down, and Breeze able to escape, dumps it off, and inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line is Brandon Coleman, taking on a larger role today without the outstanding rookie Michael Thomas.
And not only is he taking on a larger role, Tom, he's a large man doing it, 6'6", 225. So he has to pick up some of those plays, as you just noted, that Michael Thomas would have, another large receiver. And in this case, able to bowl over the defender and pick up extra yards.
2nd down and a yard. Ingram sniffing the end zone, but just short. Driven down by McCoy, but it is a 1st down. Just short of the goal line, but it is 1st and goal now with less than 32 seconds until halftime.
They're going with their heavy formation again. Tony Hill, 76, has checked in. John Kuhn, the fullback, 29, and another tight end has come in as well. Looks like Kobe Fleener back on the field with John Phillips, number 86.
1st and goal, final 15 seconds, and a timeout is called by Tampa Bay.
Charge timeout, Tampa Bay. 30
Right, how
seconds.
about the Visa halftime, Mr. Menifee back in Los Angeles?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we recap that nail-biter between Washington and Philly. The Cardinals and Dolphins come down to a last-second field goal, and the Niners try to double their win total for the season against the Jets. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime. See, this is what we do.
I think there's a whole generation of fans that forget how great Terry Bradshaw was.
Oh, man. Turn on those Super Bowl films and watch him fling it downfield. Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, they made some great catches. Terry Bradshaw made some great throws, too.
Wasn't a bad teams he played on there.
No, not at all. Don't worry about percentages and things of that nature. They played long ball, and they played it well.
It looked like movement along the right side of that line. Was it Hills who started?
Yep. That's the extra lineman and a guy that doesn't play much.
Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And it's on the quarterback and his buddies right there to tell him we're going hard count. Be patient. You see that little hitch right there. See his eyes were pointing straight down and ahead. He just got anxious.
But you know, I'm from the school, Chris, and I think you probably are too. I guarantee they did tell him. And he just jumped anyway. You know they go over those situations.
All right, 13 seconds left. Breeze to throw it. And in and out of the hands of Cadet.
Mark that play down, because it's going to come down to making plays in the end. In the 4th quarter, it's going to be a touchdown game or less. He drops a touchdown pass, working one-on-one on Levante David. They run a little read route where he breaks it back outside away from Levante David. If he just holds on to the ball, he's dancing in the end zone.
And that's his specialty, coming out of the backfield and catching the ball. I mean, he had 5 catches against Detroit just last week.
And he's got 27 on the year. 13th play of this drive, which began at midfield. 9 seconds to play until halftime. Breeze in trouble. Sacked all the way back at the 18. And that's Robert Ayers Jr. And the Saints have to spend a timeout. My, oh my, how Mo has shifted the other way here.
There's Robert Ayers Jr., Chris.
Well, Teron Armstead tries to draw him with the fake sweep. You have to understand that Ayers isn't going for it. Because of the time and situation with the clock, they're not going to run the ball. He disregards any fake that he gets from the offensive tackle and makes a beeline right for Drew Brees.
And you know what else helped there, guys? Did you see number 92, William Golston? He showed big on that play and got up and filled the sight line of Drew Brees, so he had to pull the ball down and not have a chance to throw it to someone.
That's hit a moment ago from 42 out. This one from 34, and a timeout is called before the snap.
This is the second charge timeout, Tampa Bay. 30-second timeout.
So we'll see how this game plays out, guys, but you're in the division and you're fighting for a playoff hunt. Anytime you're on the road and you got a chance to make a play, like Cadet had a chance to make a play, and you miss it, that counts. And that gives the other team momentum. And that, believe me, for Tampa Bay, this is big that they would hold them to 3 points.
Yep.
Then you know what else, guys? Think about what Tampa Bay has accomplished over the last 4 weeks on defense. They've been pressed hard for the last part of this second quarter. New Orleans has done just about everything right, momentum going their way. And here where they had to make a play, New Orleans gave one away with Cadet's drop, and Tampa made a play on the last play to force the sack. That's a big play for them.
All right, so now the 34-yard field goal try, and it is good. Boy, what a wacky final 5 minutes of this first half. A rare score indeed at halftime. Tampa Bay 13 and the Saints 8. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy standing by in Los Angeles. Atlanta with a 21-0 lead over the Rams. They'll bring you up to speed on what's going on. The Visa halftime begins right now. To you by Head and Shoulders. And he dives forward and gets into the end zone. A touchdown for Doug Martin. And that one is tipped and then intercepted.
I know y'all done ate the alphabets before. Let's go eat some W's. I'm cooking the soup, baby. Here we go.
First half moments brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Back alongside Charles Davis, Chris Spielman, and Peter Schrager. All right, let's start with Tampa Bay. I mean, look, they're tied atop the division at 7-5. The momentum swung against them, came back after the big sack at the end of the first half.
And I thought for Tampa in the first half, missed opportunities, end up kicking 2 field goals in spots they could have gotten touchdowns. So you give some credit to New Orleans for holding them there. But those are opportunities they've got to cash in on. And I think their defense is hung tough most of the half.
Yeah, missed opportunity for the Saints when Cadet drops a touchdown pass at the end of the half. Hey, listen. The Saints have lost the last 11 games where they have not scored in the first half. That's going all the way back to 2013. So they're fighting not only the Buccaneers, but they're fighting history.
And I think what'll be interesting in the second half, you got 2 quarterbacks who don't mind taking those dagger shots. Who's going to be the beneficiary of taking them and converting them here in the second half?
It's only the 3rd game in NFL history at halftime with a score of 13-8. So the Saints get the football to 25, and we've checked in with our main man downstairs, Peter Schrager.
Tom, I put it like it was to Dirk Cutter. I said, this might be the most important half of football this franchise has had in about a decade. He said, hey, it's the NFL. Things are going to happen. The safety's horrible. The special teams play by Huff, not great. It's how you get up. And Dirk Cutter said he loved the fact they held the Saints to 3 points there. He knows this offense is to score touchdowns, not field goals, to beat Drew Brees. He said, we're ready for the second half. Let's go.
Interesting words there by Cutter. What a nice job he has done along with his staff.
This tells you how Drew Brees stays on the brain of an opposing head coach.
Play fake it down the middle of the field, and very lucky that wasn't intercepted. I mean, if Levante David is one step further ahead, that's coming the other way.
But Chris, this is a second play by a linebacker today. Watch down the middle of the field for Tampa Bay that they made on the football. One, Quan Alexander turned into an interception. This one could have been.
If Levante didn't get sucked up in that play action, he would have been just deep enough to maybe get his hands on it.
Saints down the middle of the field again, and this time a connection to Snead. He's been the go-to guy when they've needed a big play, especially in that Second quarter, when they had done next to nothing, and he had the 29-yard reception along with a penalty.
And working on the rookie nickel, Javion Elliott, and that's a skinny post, and that ball is based off of timing and thrown to a spot. Willie Snead does a good job to dig it out, but that's a matchup. That means that's this whole game is matchups. They look for a matchup they like, they try to exploit it.
Run and hand it to Ingram. Penalty flag down. He is smothered. 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Ayers.
Holding, number 64, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So Gerald McCoy gets upfield really fast, right? Watch what he does here. This is a smart football player. Protects his knees and uses his hands. This is technique driven. Watch, here comes the cut block. You see that? Avoids the cut block, keeps his legs free, then runs down the line of scrimmage and gets an assist on the tackle. But right there, he did not go upfield because he read run. When he reads pass set, bam, he's gone. When he reads run, he settles in, uses his hands, and gets in for half a TFL.
First down and 20. Crossing pattern, that's Coleman. Charles brought up earlier how big this guy is, and man, when he hits you, you better make sure you wrap him up. That is a big, strong man. Just ask Javion Elliott about that.
This is a really good tackle because of what you just talked about, Tom, the size of Coleman. 6'6", 225. Javion Elliott is listed at 5'11", 176. And not much yak there, was there? Not much yards after carry. Contact big time. Remember, this is Javion Elliott's first extensive play in the NFL. A one-year player at Florida State, a walk-on, now in the NFL.
They hand it to Hightower, and the penalty flag from the far sideline in front of the Saints bench.
Offside, number 93, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And this is the counter to a guy that gets off the ball really fast. You let him run upfield. You don't fire out. Watch. The guard right here is not going to fire out on Gerald McCoy. He's going to let him run upfield and just flip his hips to turn him right. Stop right there. Freeze it. See Evans flip his hips right there. Let him go upfield, then you attack the area that he vacated by creating a natural bubble between the linebackers and the defensive line by him getting upfield.
Essentially just wall him off, right? You don't have to use force in that play.
Well, make no mistake, Evans has been around the block. He's a 6-time Pro Bowl guard. And a flag down again.
False start, number 29, defense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
The 29, did he say defense?
He meant offense. That's
he meant John Kuhn, correct? New Orleans has gone through some times where they've had a whole lot of penalties that have slowed them down. And let's face it, the penalties that drive you crazy are those types of penalties.
Yep.
The false starts, the ones that put you behind the chains. You'd rather your penalties be the aggressive ones that you make on defense.
So you're back to 2nd and 14 after consecutive penalties on each side, and that one dropped by Snead. You know, it should be noted, we brought up, Chris, you and Charles talked about the drop that would have been a touchdown by Cadet. We also can't fail to mention the wide open Brandon Cooks in the end zone that Breeze overthrew.
They're in a missed opportunity, and I got news for you. Snead is still running if he catches that because they had a bust in coverage. And that's missed opportunities. And that's, you know, let's face it, that's why you're 5-7. That's why this team is 5-7, because they're not converting when they have a chance to convert or make a play.
And they're going with the stack there, right? The trips to try and keep the man coverage away.
Here's chasing Breeze, who gets it away, but far short of a first down on the completion to Snead, who's having a few words with Quan Alexander. And there's a penalty flag 25 yards down the field along the far sideline.
So whoever this is against should be a fine because it's an undisciplined play. And you're in December and you're fighting for a division lead or a playoff spot. These are mental errors, and tough guy, fake false tough guy stuff doesn't work in this type of situation.
You're talking about proximity, right? That far away from the play, you're not affecting anything.
And that late.
But
right?
that late, why are you getting
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 83, offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. Because it's after the play, it'll be 4th down.
So Quan Alexander gets into a Willie Snead, and Willie Snead gets tagged with the penalty. See the catch? Willie Snead's tough now. He's going to try and get upfield. And look at the hit he takes from Quan Alexander. And right there, as he gets up, he goes back after him to tell him, you didn't get me, big guy. But that was one Willie did not need to do.
And what's that do for you?
Doesn't do a thing for you. Get up, go to the bench.
It does do something. It's a positive. It's a negative penalty for 15 yards.
Well, it doesn't do anything for you. It does for the opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
Season high 11th penalty. And now Morstead, instead of punting and pinning him inside the 10. I mean, it's a good punt. Going to pin him inside the 20. Buccaneers on offense in a moment.
By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By FedEx, how the holidays arrive. And by Walmart. Celebrate the holidays with Walmart. Find gifts, groceries, and fast checkouts.
13-8, Tampa Bay gets the ball for the first time here in the second stanza of this one. Winston, the numbers in the opening half, 7 of 13, 88 yards, 2 rushes for 17 yards. Winston has accounted for at least 1 touchdown in all 28 of his NFL games, all 27 that he played for the Seminoles. First down, throw a little high, but the catch is made by Martin. Buccaneers had the 13-0 lead in this game. And then you had this after a field goal. It hit Huff, went out of bounds at the 1. The next play, safety. And then the punter with the entire field in front of him. This guy's been a good punter for a long time, but punts the ball out of bounds, and the Saints got the ball at the 50-yard line. Now we talked about momentum swinging the other way. Saints give up a sack. Bro is an injured Saint. Will step aside while they take a look at him. Left shoulder for Bro as he made contact with Martin going up to make the catch.
So right here, just shoulder impact. Sometimes you hit that right on top of that shoulder, get a little stinger or pops out.
There's B.W. Webb who's replaced him, and if I'm throwing the ball, I'm testing him right away if I'm Tampa with Mike Evans.
He joined the team in week 2. They're going to hand it to Martin, and he has the first down up to the 30-yard line. Okay, Martin's running the ball well here today. We talked about being injured and missing half the games this year with a hamstring. Then he got bent back on the ankle late in the game last week, but he appears to be running very well today.
Well, Chris, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say he's running well because, again, he's been made better by Jacquizz Rodgers. Jacquizz Rodgers actually averaged 4.4 yards per carry, and Martin was coming in 2.98. So when you got somebody pushing you, you tend to get a little bit better.
Winston to throw it on first down. And that's in a tight coverage, and a penalty flag comes in. And that's where they were going, as you suggested, Charles. You could go right to the guy who replaced the guy.
Listen, I'm going to give him a steady dose of Mike Evans on B.W. Webb if they're going to continue with that matchup until he shows he can stop it.
Number 28, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Look, B.W. Webb's listed at 5'11", 190, and he's a savvy veteran. He's been around the league a few different places. He's going to fight you. He's going to scratch. He's going to claw. He's going to do everything. But you got a 6'5", 230-pound guy. I'm going to take my odds and say, go box him out. Look, Mike Evans' background is basketball. Go play above the rim with B.W. Webb and see if he can stop you.
First down from the 35. Looked like a problem on the exchange. I don't know if there ever was an exchange between Winston and Martin. And Fairley there to blow the whole thing up. And now, away from the ball, some pushing and shoving. And penalty flags come down.
Did this look like read option to you, Chris? That they were trying to the zone read here?
I think it's zone read.
And then there's a mistake on keep it or pull it.
Yeah, and Jameis has got to pull it because there was nowhere for him to go. And so to not have that happen, that timing, because it takes rep upon rep to get that timing down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 76, offense. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
That's a third penalty in this game on Donovan Smith. That's 3 of the 6 against Tampa Bay in the game.
So look in the middle. Donovan Smith right there. And then Paul Kruger grabs his face mask.
Yeah, that's.
And guess who gets caught?
You got to get both. You got to get both.
You do, but you know as well. Yeah. You know better than anyone, Chris. It's a matter of when their eyes get there, because there's so much going on, and they have to call what they see. So they missed Kruger on the face mask, but they got Donovan Smith with the extra.
Well, 15-yard penalty is a second down and 28. They'll get a little bit of it back as they throw it to Myers, a backup tight end in his 8th year out of Iowa, just his 5th catch all season.
So you got to think about helping your offense now. The term Tampa's been using in the last 3-4 weeks to great effect has been complementary football. How our offense helps our defense, how our defense helps our offense, how both help our special teams. So if your offense now, you got to play complementary football and help with field position and make sure that your defense has a fighting chance when Drew Brees gets the ball back.
Need to get to the 45 for a first down. And Winston is sacked by Fairley, who looked like he was shaken up a moment ago. Instead, he's celebrating after a sack. And we send it back to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Atlanta opening drive of the second half. They were already up 21-0, and adding to that with this Taylor Gabriel 64-yard touchdown from Matt Ryan. Atlanta sitting pretty 27-0. Tom?
And that old New Orleans defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, his defense is falling apart at the seams.
And there's no Julio Jones today, correct, for Atlanta? He was questionable going in. Taylor Gabriel and Justin Hardy and crew have really picked up the slack.
The 25-yard line. Penalty flag comes in. We'll see if that nullifies a real nice return by Tommy Lee Lewis up to the 40.
Not only a nice return as to which set up the field position like you mentioned, but when you have an offense that's been struggling, you're not playing complementary football. You're not copying what the Tampa does.
Illegal block in the back, number 97, receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down, New Orleans. Timeout.
It's a backup linebacker, Sam Barrington. Tight one in Tampa.
Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon.
Well, the Saints come up with a big defensive stop on the Buccaneers' opening possession of this second half. Let's be honest about it. When you're 2 games under 500, 2 games back in the division with 4 to go. Look, you can sit here and listen to the argument from everybody and his brother about, well, maybe you can go 3-1 and get in. You got to go 4-0 to get in.
That's got to be your only thinking, your only mentality.
And that's the position the Saints are in right now on a first down. That'll be a gain of 4 by Hightower. Let's go downstairs to Peter.
Hey guys, you know the Saints already without Max Unger, with Craig Robertson out, and Michael Thomas. The thought was Delvin Breaux might be out, but this kid's showing incredible toughness right now. They rewrapped his entire jersey. They put an extra pad on the shoulder. It looks like he's going to return. Guys, this is a kid who broke his neck in high school. Looks like he's going to return from this one.
And broke his fibula at the start of this season, Peter. Not much is going to have this young man stay down, is it?
Well, he's an incredible story. Denied first down yardage. As Coach, you saw him we put up earlier. College, none. I mean, he was heavily recruited and committed to LSU. It's an amazing journey to find Breaux in the National Football League.
Broke his neck. No one would clear him to play. Had to battle his way through semi-pro Canadian football to make his way to the NFL. It's a huge third down here. And the screen game for New Orleans hasn't been in effect very much today, but it's always a possibility with Sean Payton.
Either team reaching out and grabbing any flow or momentum in this second half. That might change now. Cooks a first down reception to the 33.
It's a nice job of Brandon Cooks recognizing zone. The difference with wide receivers and quarterbacks have to be on the same page. Brandon Cook's going to come and sit right down here. Because it's zone defense, you find the open hole and you sit it down. If it's any type of man coverage, what you do is you carry the route across the field. And that time when you're connecting as a quarterback receiver, good things will happen.
Cooks did not have a catch in that route of the Rams. a couple of weeks ago did not have a target, as the Saints are going to call a timeout, and he publicly voiced some frustration. They got him back in the act with 7 catches last week. We'll see down the stretch today. Saints in a must-win. 13 to play here in the third quarter. Buccaneers at 7-5, tied with Atlanta, top the NFC South going into play today. And Atlanta in the process of routing the Rams. First down carry by Cadet. And that'll be a loss of 2. Alexander on a stop. Coming up Tuesday, Big East college shooters reaching a whole new level. Temple heads out to the main line to take on the defending national champion and #1 ranked Villanova Wildcats. 7 p.m. Tuesday night on FS1.
Nothing like a Big 5 battle in Philadelphia, and the #1 team in the country led by the best dress coach in the country.
Jay Wright.
Jay Wright can dress now.
Nice job by Drew Brees right there, mixing up his count. And I agree, he dresses well, but this is a good, smart play by Drew Brees.
Neutral zone infraction, number 92, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Now we saw Delvin Breaux head to the locker room, Peter, a second ago. What's the latest?
Yeah, guys, he had the jersey on. He ran a few sprints. It looks like he's questionable return now after all. He ran into the locker room. The doctors are going to look at him further. But Delvin Breaux, their top cornerback, looks to be questionable to return now.
Yeah, he was the Mike Evans guy. Right, Tom?
That's one catch while he's covered. Brees looking for the long ball. And this time connects with Cooks after missing with him earlier in the game. All the way to the 25-yard line.
It's a beautiful job by Drew Brees of using his eyes. Brandon Cooks is going to come out here and run what they call the wheel route. It's a little switch, a little stop and go. And what Drew Brees did to set that up, Charles, he looked at Kobe Fleener sitting right over the middle, moved everybody to Fleener, then allowed Brandon Cooks to create separation down the field.
And I thought it was really good concentration by Cooks because he had one player, I think it was McDougal, with a hand in his sight line, and Keith Tandy, I believe, was buzzing over the top, and he knew it was coming, and he focused and caught it.
5:43 to go in the third. They hand it to Hightower. And the pile pushes him forward for 3, 4, 5 extra yards. That's a gain of almost 9.
See, when you get a run like that, everybody gets excited. The offensive line gets excited. The quarterback gets excited. Then he gets confidence, and everybody gets confidence. You see him bob his head right there? I want the football.
You know what else is happening, too? Remember how this game started, where they were struggling to run the football? Remember, Chris, you said, hey, they've got to get the ball in Drew Brees' hands and throw it because they can't run it right now. Well, that has changed as time has gone on. This offensive line starting to get a little better push up front.
Take a look at the way things have changed since that first quarter. Caught by Snead. That's another first down. Shoved out of bounds at the 12-yard line by Elliott.
When you run the ball, that's what happens. Play action is set up. I mean, that's football 101. And you get guys guessing. And the best thing it does for the New Orleans offense, it slows down that pressure that Tampa can bring with just 4 guys because you have to play run first. Well done. Good play call by Sean Payton. He's getting his rhythm.
And the wide receivers have stepped up for the loss of Michael Thomas. The exciting rookie from Ohio State is not playing today.
Payton calling plays for the first time since 2012. And this is Hightower. And he is spun down inside the 5.
Now he's running for cash. We already put it up in the first half. He's running for $75,000 if we get 78 yards. And this is great cutback by Hightower in vision. Willie Snead coming over there to cut it off, but you see everybody's getting upfield, creating a natural bubble inside. Makes it easy for the Saints offensive linemen to get to the second level.
Now, you just mentioned Sean Payton's getting in a rhythm as a play caller, right, partner?
Yeah.
You know what else is happening? He's been very patient with the run game today, something they weren't able to do against Detroit.
9th play of the drive, second down and 2. Pump fake. Everybody covered, just rounding the football is Brees.
Well, second down is the big play action pass for every NFL team out there. And right here, Tampa understands that, and everybody does a great job of staying on their guy, eyes back to the quarterback, not covering dirt, jumping men. Beautiful job of execution by that Buccaneer defense.
All right, 3rd down and 2. You almost get the feeling they may consider, well, we'll see. 3rd down and 2. And it is a touchdown. Cooks had the 38-yard reception to set it all up and finishes things off with his 7th receiving touchdown of the year.
And watch Brandon Cooks, watch him go in. And Chris, you talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Finds the spot, sits down, establishes himself, and look at him. Just stays with his quarterback.
I'm not sure this is the catch.
Here we go.
It's not.
Oh, it looks like it came through at the end. Everything was so good by Brandon Cooks, too. The route, the establishment, showed his numbers to the quarterback, leaned in.
Review.
And Drew Brees,
the ball goes through
him open.
He did. He took him to the right spot.
Hey, just mark this. That's 2 touchdown passes, 2 drops by the
Well, we'll
Saints.
see. I mean, no official ruling yet, but it looked like Cooks just flat whiffed.
This is what they were looking at. And guess what? That ball's out and on the ground. This will be
After reviewing
reversed.
the play, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down on the 4.5-yard line.
A pair of drop touchdown passes by the Saints today.
Remember, Travaris Cadet dropped one in the first half. Cooks drops one here. And Chris Spielman, I'm going to go out on a big limb here. Kick the field goal. All right? First half, I see it go for it, but in a different situation.
Yeah, here you're going to get within 3
Yes.
if you're successful, and then you'd be a field goal away from taking the lead. But oh my, what could have been. 22-yard attempt, perfect today for this rookie out of Georgia State. Good snap, good hold, and a good kick. (13-11), but what could have been for Cooks and the Saints. Well, Drew Brees missed an open Brandon Cooks for a touchdown in the 2nd quarter. Travaris Cadet dropped a touchdown pass, ultimately leading to a field goal, and now a drop by Cooks that should have been a touchdown. And this one bouncing through the back of the end zone. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes players who made a significant impact on both the game and their communities. The nominee for New Orleans, the veteran Roman Harper. And for Tampa Bay, Vincent Jackson. To learn about all of this year's nominees, and there's one from every team, visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. That is such a prestigious honor to be a nominee for the Man of the Year.
I love those guys that understand their responsibility, not only their team and their teammates, but their community.
Yeah, our own,
such a positive impact.
Exactly, our own Peanut Tillman, our colleague, NFL Man of the Year 2013.
All right, Winston out of shotgun, and now he's in trouble. Rolling to his right, and will throw it away. This has been a dormant Tampa Bay offense since the opening quarter. For more on Vincent Jackson, let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Hey guys, Vincent Jackson grew up in a military family. His Action 83 Foundation takes care of a lot of families here in the Tampa area. This past June, they hosted a bunch of kids who have parents in the military, and they had a camp at One Buck Place. Vincent Jackson, one of the better guys in the league, one of the better causes going right now.
Peter, he's been nominated for that award 4 straight years by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tells you the depth and level that he puts into it.
Well, that's a dangerous play there. Looks like a wide receiver screen. And man, there was a lot of traffic, and now all of a sudden incomplete. You're 3rd and 10.
Yeah, here's the traffic. You can't throw this screen with press coverage. You cannot do that. When there's press coverage like that, there's no way, because nobody can get out and block in time against press coverage. The problem Tampa Bay has, they don't have any receivers or tight ends to separate down the field. Every pass Jameis Winston's thrown has been 10 yards.
They're down in 10. Winston looking for something, anything, and finds a first down. And Cameron Brate, and boy, do the Bucs need that. Let's go out west to Kurt Menefee.
All right, Green Bay all over Seattle. Russell Wilson has thrown 4 picks. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3 touchdowns. 2 to Jordy Nelson. It's 28-3 late in the 3rd quarter. Tom, Charles, Chris, and Peter.
Kurt, what is it about Green Bay that has Russell Wilson throwing all those interceptions? Remember the playoff game, the NFC Championship game a few years ago? Same thing, except he pulled that one out.
First down carry is to Rodgers. With Martin back in the lineup, not a lot of action today for Rodgers. He does have an injured foot. Starting to rain here in Tampa. How about it, Peter?
Well, here it comes, guys. We thought it might be. You saw the Dolphins game all in the early window. It was pouring rain. Now it is coming down real hard. This could be a messy final quarter and a half.
Yeah, and the Saints like a fast track for what they do on offense. Talked with a couple of coaches in pregame, and they did not want to see rain at all.
Second down and 9, and how about that throw by Winston? Finds Huff, his first catch as a Buccaneer.
Chris, earlier in the game, I talked about how New Orleans wasn't really in sync on offense. And lately, Tom just pointed it out, Tampa Bay hasn't been. I feel like on this drive, Dirk Cutter's putting the ball in the hands of his quarterback and saying, get us moving again. What do you think?
Yeah, and that was a great throw by Winston. Good coverage, but Huff did a great job of securing that football with Von Bell hanging all over him. That ball was a little behind.
A gain of 17.
Ooh, Cam Jordan.
All over Rodgers behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow. He makes a lot of plays, doesn't he?
This is just, it's beautiful. And watch what Cam does right here. And this is, again, plain run. And get off of me, please. It takes Sherless. And when you have a defensive lineman that plays angry like that, it can hands in win. His hands got inside. He was low man. That guy always wins. Used his leverage and saw the football. Didn't bury his eyes. That's another problem guys have. If they bury their eyes, you can't find the ball.
I don't think he said please.
Yes. Man. That's good stuff.
Sims. And he's inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. It'll bring up third down and 2 for Tampa Bay, trying to answer.
So what's the counter, Charles? When you see Cam Jordan come off, watch the counter. First of all right, you want to do that? I'm going to get your hands down to create a throwing lane by cutting you right at the kneecaps.
That was really well done by Gosder Sherless. Look at Nick Fairley pursuing and making the tackle at the end. But it has a heck of a play there by Gosder Sherless to keep that play alive.
It's a very important third down for the Buccaneers. Third down and 2, they're going to throw it. Flag comes down. Winston rolling around and lost the ball to Sims, who is spun down. There are flags everywhere.
One of them is holding on the Saints.
Yep.
Second flag was holding on the Saints downfield.
It's a final play of the third quarter.
When you bring 5, you have to get there. You cannot allow Jameis Winston to run around, survey the field, and find open receivers.
He does find a way to keep plays alive, doesn't he? He is not the most athletic quarterback you'll see, but he has an innate sense.
There's 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Holding number 34 defense and holding number 48 defense. Both of those penalties are declined. The result of the play is a completed pass for a first down. This is the end.
All right, we're off to the fourth quarter. Oh, how important this game is for both the Buccaneers and the Saints. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a word from your local Fox station. It was completely dominated by the Buccaneers, but twice, they got that touchdown very early part of the second quarter after a lengthy drive in the first. They had 116 yards of offense in the first quarter. They have 79 yards of offense since, but they still lead because of the missed chances by the Saints.
The Saints have done a good job, and Dennis Allen on defense, the coordinator. It's a great game plan, but that last play, if you bring 5 guys,
got to get it.
Got to get there, and you can't let. And you're playing man behind it because then you're forced to hold on to guys as Jameis is running around free.
And you see now the heavy showers forecast. But Winston's ability to keep plays alive, extend plays, he has a little of that Big Ben in him where he can take hits and still deliver the ball.
On the 24-yard line, first down for Winston. Good protection, and again just dumps it off, and there's Sims again. We talked about Sims coming back and what he brings to this offense, and you're getting a look at it right here on a very important drive.
Well, they're playing Tampa too, and Stephon Anthony is going to get all the way back here, leaving the check down wide open for Sims. And watch Stephon Anthony and Stupar get out of there. See how much depth they get, which I understand. but that leaves that little check down. That's easy pitch and catch, especially in weather like this. That's a safe, dependable, reliable throw.
Hey, y'all, you want to check it? We're good, Sunday. Let's go.
Stay with a run call. And that is Martin, who took a hit right around the thigh from Anthony and able to keep his feet on the ground and pick up 3 more.
Don't wrap up, Charles.
Did you hear what was going on there, though?
Yeah.
Did you hear when he was talking there? He was talking to his center about the line call. Do you want, would you want to go somewhere else? You want it? No, we're good. Stayed with the play. That's great communication, center, quarterback, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Keep it. He said keep it where it was. Trusting your tight teammates, trusting your lineman to make the right call.
11th play of the drive. They fake it one way, and then Jameis going to keep him himself. He didn't fool anybody there, and they were screaming for a flag on a hit on Winston.
He's a running back in that situation.
Yes.
So his protection.
It changes. The call changes because he becomes a runner.
They tried to hit the shovel pass with Martin.
Yep.
And he did not go feet first. And you're a running back. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs to relax on the booze.
Yep. It's the right call. No, meaning no call.
So 3rd down at 4.
Look at Mike Evans right here. That's where you want to work on BW Webb.
It's a big play for the Saints on defense. Into the end zone and batted away. Beautifully done by the former Buccaneer, Sterling Moore. Bucs made the decision they weren't going to give him a contract, and this is a big play.
Yeah, absolutely. The ball was late and behind. He looked at Evans, but Jarris Byrd came over the top to take Evans away. That's his second read. He came to him too late, and he throws the ball behind.
Yep.
And he's lucky that ball isn't in the end zone for a touchback going the other way. Saints ball in the 20.
Exactly right. That ball's out ahead. He gives Shepard a chance to make the play. It's a little behind. It brought Moore in, and he knocked it away.
All right, so now in the rain, Andrew DePaula is a snapper. The punter, Anger, will hold it. Aguayo from 26 yards away. He's 2 of 2 in the game. High snap, but the field goal is good. All right. 12:46 to play. A 5-point game.
Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet.
Well, the first points for the Buccaneers since opening up a 13-0 lead. Breeze and the Saints coming up with 11 unanswered. And now the field goal to make it a 5-point game. 13 plays spanning nearly 70 yards, but the Saints able to make a play and not give up the touchdown. Nearly an entire quarter, but you can't help but look back on what could have been the overthrow by Breeze on Cook. Same drive, the drop by Cadet. That should have been 7. This should have been 14.
So we have 3 incompletions there, right? I mean, that's what it looks like in the stat sheet. 3 incompletions. But hidden things have big-time messages. That's 3 times that there could have been points on the board for the Saints. So some incompletions are way bigger than others.
Oh, yeah. All right, but plenty of time left for the 37-year-old Austin, Texas native, future Hall of Famer in Breeze. And that one is thrown incomplete.
A rare miss by Drew Brees, and a reason why that ball was thrown low. His footwork was all messed up. Usually he's precise in his footwork. That time he was parallel to the receiver. Feet were parallel as opposed into that boxer stance or that throwing motion that he's noted for.
And that's one you clip and save because you don't get it often with Drew Brees. Some of the most impeccable footwork that's ever been seen in the NFL.
Exactly.
Good protection, a beautiful throw there, about a yard short of a first down as Ingram tripped up by Levante David.
So what they're doing now is they're doubling Gerald McCoy, right? Right here, that's McCoy getting doubled. So when you're getting doubled, that means 3 other guys are working one-on-one, and they are not winning their one-on-one battle. See the double team right here? Lolito coming over, and nobody else is winning their one-on-one battle. So if I'm McCoy and say, look, I'm getting doubled, somebody needs to step up other than me to make a play and get pressure on Brees.
Give a lot of credit to the New Orleans offensive line. They know they're going to double. Everyone else has to win their one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And that's what their offensive line just did.
Each team with 1 sack in the game. And the Saints will spend the timeout. First timeout by the Saints here in the second half. So, fellas, we come back full circle here now and welcome you up to the broadcast booth. The bottom line is this. The Saints pretty much have to win out. They're 2 back, 4 to go. And it's very clear Atlanta is running away and hiding from the Rams in front 42-0. So Tampa Bay trying to keep pace.
Yeah, trying to keep pace. Remember, right now Atlanta owns the tiebreaker, even though they've split the games or other tiebreaks to come into play. But Chris, when I look at this game, we just showed the missed opportunities by New Orleans, but they're still right there. Who would have thought 3 weeks ago we'd be talking about a defensive struggle between Tampa Bay and New Orleans?
And the thing I would take comfort in if I'm a Saints fan, Drew Brees, we know he's physically tough. He's also mentally tough. He's been in this position before, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a big play when a play needs to be made.
Chris, he's been there 29 times as a New Orleans Saint with fourth quarter comeback wins. So we know Drew Brees has the confidence to pull it off again.
Third down and a yard after the timeout. That's Snead. And a throw. What a throw that is. Is it a catch is the question. And the official says yes to Travaris Cadet. And that'll move the chains to the 41-yard line.
Really nice job of Cadet understanding where he is on the field. And Brees throwing the ball lone away. It's his guy or no guy. And that's a matchup they liked. Cadet working one-on-one with Levante David, and we talked about it all year and all day. This game is always about matchups and where you can take advantage.
Tampa Bay scrambling to get the right personnel on the field for this first down run by Ingram. That's a gain of 2. And let's go back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
What a season Vic Beasley is having. Tied for the league with 13.5 sacks. He's got 3 today, including this strip sack for a touchdown against Jared Goff and the Rams. He's got to work on his celebration afterwards. He was okay on the sideline, no matter how this looks. It's 42-0 starting the fourth quarter.
Sack, forced fumble, touchdown. That's a 5. That's a quintuplet or whatever that is. It's number 5. Quito.
Pretty darn good. Here's a throw, and short of a first down by about a yard, maybe 2 is Fleener. First time we've called his name today.
You know, they had Ingram in there, and my question would be, where's Hightower? I mean, Hightower is running angry and mad and running for money. And that's the guy that I would have in there. Now they have no backs in there right now.
Well, there's Hightower, and Ingram's just down the trail from an empty backfield. On a third down and a yard.
And I know Cooks had the big drop. I still expect him to have an impact before this game is over.
Oh, boy. Tipped into the air, and it is intercepted. Brees makes a mistake this time. That should have been intercepted by 2 different players. Instead, it's Brent Grimes.
And that looked like Keith Tandy doing another robber coverage where he ended up affecting everything. Look at him flash, gets a hand on it, and Brent Grimes on the tip drill pulls it in.
Last 2 games, 5 interceptions, not a single touchdown pass by Drew Brees. We told you last week was the first time in a home game he had not thrown a touchdown since 2009. It was bobbled momentarily, it looked by Martin. Let's turn back to the interception.
Okay, here's a number of mistakes. First of all, if I got Brandon Cooks on Levante David, that's where I'm going. I don't. Okay, fine. I have to move him with my eyes. I don't bring him to the ball with my eyes. Drew Brees' eyes gives Tandy a great break on the football. See that? There's no hesitation because Drew Brees does not use his eyes to move people. Staring down the target. He threw an interception to Glover Quinn for the Detroit Lions last week because he stared his target down, paid the price again by not using his eyes to move.
2nd and 4. And that is a first down carried by Martin. This is something we saw the Buccaneers when Martin was injured in the fourth quarter last week. They gave the ball 3 straight downs to Rodgers.
Yes.
And they converted the first down to seal the game.
And Doug Martin does not want Rodgers on the field to have those carries. Now, he wants to be the one to carry them. And the reason he was off the field last week, he got hurt. Got bent over backwards. His legs were hurting. Rodgers came and did a nice job. They trust Rodgers. Remember, he was with Dirk Cutter when he was offensive coordinator in Atlanta. Mike Smith, the defense coordinator, was the head coach of that team.
Sunday. Here we go.
Martin loses a yard on first down. Good pursuit there by Donnell Ellaby. We have not called his name a lot today, but boy, now that he is healthy and playing, he is playing his best football for these Saints.
He's a difference maker. And you hear that Sunday call to Jameis Winston? That means what they're doing is they're finding out where Von Bell is, who's the 8th man in the box. He will locate Von Bell. If they have to play away from Von Bell, they'll call it Sunday. If they want to go and change the play, they'll call it another day, just not Sunday.
Winston is sacked all the way back at the 40-yard line, and that's Von Bell along with Cameron Jordan.
Look, Cameron Jordan, I talked about him at the top of the show. Watch the rush coming. I think he's coming from the right side. You know, your screen right. Look at it, plays a little game, little stunt, and goes through 3 people, and also got plenty of help from Von Bell on that play. But Cam Jordan is having a year that deserves Pro Bowl consideration. But a lot of times the Pro Bowl guy is the guy that has the most sacks.
That's right.
Cam Jordan's playing all-around great football. And Winston fortunate to hold on to the ball there as he was between those 2 Saints.
All right, so now you're third and an eternity. 3rd and 22. And Winston is getting some of the yardage back to Martin. And he's to the 45-yard line, but a chance to really kind of seal this thing up. I mean, a long way to go, but you kick a field goal here, you make it really tough.
Excellent job by the Saints on defense, finding a way to get off the field. Smart play by Winston taking the check down there and giving your punter a chance to affect field position and help your defense. But give a lot of credit to the Saints defense. If you look at their numbers coming into the game, you wonder how the heck they're doing this today. Coming into the game ranked, what, 26th on defense in the league.
End over end punt by Anger, trying to pin him deep. And did they flip it back in time? It is down inside the 1-yard line. That is spectacular coverage. Ryan Smith batted the ball back, number 29. And right there to haul it in inside the 1 is Alan Cross. I mean, you can't do it any better than that. So we welcome many of you watching the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks, and the Packers are just steamrolling Seattle. A surprise there. Here, you know Atlanta's winning. They're crushing the Rams out west. And the Rams are, or rather the Falcons and these Buccaneers are tied at 7-5 atop the division.
And don't adjust your TV. Yes, the score is 16-11. You probably expected a shootout. But right now the defense is affecting the game. This is huge right here for Tampa Bay. They've got a chance now to really pin them deep.
Well, remember, the Saints got a safety under when Tampa Bay was backed up at this position because they went all-out blitz. Now, if I'm Tampa, I don't do an all-out blitz because I have the lead.
Right.
I play somebody deep. You better account for McCoy, number 93.
They're going to throw it on first down from the end zone. A wobbler. And that was nearly intercepted off his own back right there by McDougal.
And
that ball almost appeared to be laying on the top of his back.
And you're taking a big chance there. And New Orleans has done it over the years. But there's not just the possibility of the interception, which is big, right? It's also if you get a hold in the end zone. A holding penalty against your offensive line, that's a safety as well. But that's been Sean Payton, the New Orleans Saints. They've done it for years. To them, it's not a gamble. That's part of their offense.
2nd down and 10. Catch made by Fleener. Or no, first time today by John Phillips. They lost Josh Hill for the season with a fractured right fibula last week against Detroit. So Phillips involved in the offense, but now a 3rd down and 2 for Breeze and the Saints as we're closing in on 6 minutes to go.
And they do such a good job of finding ways to shake Brandon Cooks free. Sometimes they bring him into the backfield. In this case, looks like he's lining up in the slot.
Matched up with Levante David, 54, the linebacker.
He's rolling, being chased, throws it away, incomplete. That was Noah Spence in hot pursuit, able to knock it down, and the Saints will punt from their own end zone.
Noah Spence and Gerald McCoy working in tandem. You see McCoy working one-on-one, and they're lucky they can get a hold of it. And that, you know, he is so good off the ball. He goes immediately to his pass rush. He hits what they call a swim move. It's so quick, it puts Evans in a very difficult position to ask him to handle McCoy one-on-one.
Hargrave standing back in midfield, waiting on the Morstead punt. It's a good one. Driving him back to his own 37-yard line, but has some running room. And right at the 50 is Hargraves. 5:41 to go. Buccaneers trying to make it 5 straight wins.
By the new film Sing, in theaters this Christmas.
.541 to go here in Tampa. Drew Brees has not thrown an interception last week at home against Detroit. Not today. Winston, a pretty quiet game. 178 yards, has not thrown a touchdown. But the only numbers that matter, those on the scoreboard. And Tampa Bay, 5.5 minutes away from going to 8-5 on the year. And a 5-game win streak.
And they're going to do it and try to close this out like they did last week against the Chargers by running the football, bringing number 66 Leonard Wester in as an extra tackle, lining up at tight end. And this is where you win games. I mean, if you can out-tough people at the end, and they did it last week, now can they do it again?
Pitch it to Martin. Cuts it back, lost his footing. And that may have cost him a first down. So here we are in a third down. So critical at this juncture of the game, especially for this New Orleans defense.
Beyond critical. When this drive started, Tampa Bay had run 19 plays in the second half. But 13 of those were run on the previous drive. Does New Orleans have enough left in the tank? Because I think they've done yeoman duty today to keep the game right where it is. Can they make one more play and give their offense another shot?
We brought up earlier, the defense 26th ranked overall, 30th scoring defense, giving up 28 points per game. They've given up 16, and Winston on a third down. That is some kind of catch by Evans. That was not a good throw. And Evans went out there and just got it.
And he went up against the rookie Ken Crawley, undrafted from Colorado. And again, he's going to use his size. Watch Evans work his way inside and use his body to reach out. That ball kind of took off a little bit on him with Jameis Winston. It didn't go into the body. He had to go out with his arms and secure it into his chest. A huge first down for Tampa on a big-time catch by Evans.
Saints have 2 timeouts left. You know, the best game that Mike Evans has ever had in a very short career. It's only his 3rd season in the league, but the best game he's ever had against New Orleans. 5 catches for fractionally over 50 yards.
See, and that's where Delvin Breaux had come into the game with his long arms, his ability to play press coverage and be physical with Mike Evans. And he had a pretty decent game going till he hurt his shoulder. And Mike Evans starting to make some plays now, but that catch radius of Evans made that last one.
Well, they have 7 seconds on the play clock on a first down and 10. Well, you heard Sunday again. Christian made reference to that a moment ago. And they put it in the hands of Martin, and that'll be a 2-yard pickup.
The other thing, if they're smart, what they'll do is you watch the play clock. Use all of the play clock. Snap that ball with about 2 seconds left to go. Then you're going to force New Orleans to use their final timeout eventually. Just take your time. And no penalties, no sacks. And the other thing that's got to be concentrated on in the huddle is tell the running backs, ball security, 2 hands on the football. The details at the end of the game under pressure is what wins football games.
And how about that little stat there for Jameis Winston? The last thing he's thinking about, but he's had a touchdown in every game he's played in college and the NFL. And I've been told that goes back through high school.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
Sunday,
They turn around and hand it off again. And Martin for a yard. You know, you spend a little bit of time around Jameis Winston, and regardless of what your perception of him might be, and look, he was involved in a situation or two at Florida State that certainly you don't want to be involved in. There's no denying that. But once he has stepped foot in the NFL, this guy has been a model citizen off the field. He has been tremendous on the field. And the respect and the admiration that he has from his teammates and coaches is second to none.
Just think about this season, guys. The letter he wrote to the players that galvanized the team. A game ball to the fans after a big win here. The things he does in terms of leadership. Yeah, as Dirk Curry said, he's unique that way, but it's genuine.
And now timeout going to be called by Tampa Bay before this third down, and another big third down. To the league trying to get its team to the playoffs. You know, bear in mind here, the Giants play the Cowboys later tonight. They still have to play the Redskins again. The Vikings and the Packers still play one another. The Saints have to play the Cardinals. The Buccaneers play the Saints again. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, we are dealing with a lot of stuff here. Tampa Bay trying to get to 8-5. Green Bay looks like they're well on their way, right?
Right, to 7-6. And Atlanta well on their way to 8-5. That's a done deal.
That's a done deal. So you're seeing these records here, and as you noted, these matchups coming up are going to be so crucial because Green Bay finishes in Detroit. And that may not be for a division title, the way Detroit's going, but maybe Green Bay's playoff life going into that game. So there's a lot happening.
And Green Bay has played Minnesota.
Exactly.
It's a third down and 7. They're going to have Winston throw it. Trying to go to Evans on a one-handed reception. Great coverage by B.W. Webb.
It's all about patience. I like what Jameis is doing because he trusts Evans to go win the 50-50. But B.W. Webb staying parallel, does not get turned. They're in a fighting match, both hands. Guys have hands on each other. And B.W. Webb going up to the highest point and keeping that left hand of Evans away from the football because Evans is grabbing him, trying to make the great catch.
I like the way you put it there, Chris. Both of them fighting it out, so that's why the flag stayed in the official's pocket. Okay, you two work it out amongst yourselves.
Well, it's such a tough completion to get those. All right, they're going to punt it. Not going to take a chance of a long field goal and then turn over field position. They'd rather do this right here. That's why you pay Anger. He is among the very best in the NFL. 28 times this year he has pinned an opponent inside the 20.
Should buy Target. Expect more, pay less.
In the history of the National Football League, you can make the argument that Drew Brees is the greatest single free agent signee of all time by any team. 29 of those 41 career game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime have come as a Saint. Since they signed him from San Diego in 06, he leads all quarterbacks in touchdowns, yards. He's been in the Pro Bowl 8 times and won a Super Bowl. Can he bring his team back? Snead up to the 21-yard line. Saints have one timeout left in the game.
Now, if you're Tampa Bay, I know people hate this because you have a 5-point lead. You play off and nothing over your head. Keep everything in front.
Brees looking down the field, and it is caught. That is a nice catch right there by Coleman. The clock continues to run. A first down to the 37.
And you see what Coleman did? Got it to an official right away so they can keep playing fast.
Just as he's hit, Brees able to get rid of the ball, and heads up right there by Cadet. Did he get out of bounds to stop the clock? He did. 1:15 remaining.
He had to navigate his way to the sideline too, didn't he? Good observation there, Tom.
How about the sidearm, knowing where your guys are with somebody hanging on your legs, delivering a strike to Cadet. Now, Tampa Bay, you still say soft coverage. If they move down around the 35-yard line, if you have blitz packages, that's when you start doing that. But remember, they're a very good team. They're a zone team mainly, but they also can get pressure with just 4.
1:15 to play. Great protection down the field and right into triple coverage with an eye on Cooks, and it looked like Cooks had an eye on McDougal or Tandy.
Yeah, and Tandy did not play the ball.
No, he played the man.
Now, if he goes and plays the ball, watch 37, Tandy. He'll come into your screen here in a minute. He'll be in the back end. If he goes and plays this football, he's got to pick. But look, his eyes are down, and he goes right for the shot, and the ball goes right past him.
And that was your classic Tampa 2 defense with Quan Alexander, number 58, running down the middle of the field, what they call running the pipe, trying to take away the crossing routes.
1:08 to go. Not going to let him get out of bounds this time. That's a nice play made by Bradley McDougal. And now we're at 4th down. And the Saints will spend their final timeout before this 4th down and a yard. These two teams will play again 2 weeks from today at the Superdome in New Orleans. And, you know, we brought it up. New Orleans basically needs to win out to win this division, or at least have any hope of being in contention for the division. Meanwhile, for the Buccaneers, this has been a great story so far, though this one not over yet.
Not over yet. Have to close this out. But you notice that shot right before we came on of Sean Payton with his play sheet looking at it? He's not saving anything for 2 weeks from now. He's got to have it right now. Brandon Cooks, I said, still needs to affect this game. I'd find a way to shake him free.
Yeah, well, you do. And remember, Tampa's not comfortable playing man-to-man. They're mainly a zone team. Now, what this timeout does, it helps the pass rushers who were dragging down there early. It gives them a chance to rush, so they're going to get their full effort on front 4 guys bringing it. But don't get greedy if you're Tampa. You still play the percentages, and you play off, and you give up a short pass.
Well, for the Saints, this is it. You convert, you keep your hopes alive. You fail, barring a miracle, you're not going to the playoffs. It is intercepted by Tandy. He had the huge interception against San Diego a week ago and delivers again today.
Tom, you talked about the interception that Tandy had against San Diego. All right, so watch as this play develops. He again sees it and drives on the football, makes a play. At San Diego, he felt he had the read on the play and communicated it to Vernon Hargreaves before the play. They collaborated for the interception. Earlier in this game, we saw him make 2 excellent breaks on the football. One resulted in an interception, and he makes another one now and gets it. He wants to be a coach. He's got his eyes on the game plan right now.
And remember, he's not the starter. He's filling in for Chris Conte.
Well, I'll tell you what he has. He has a beat on Drew Brees because, again, he's breaking on Drew Brees' eyes. He's not breaking on the ball. He's looking and anticipating where Brees is going and makes a game-winning interception for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Second week in a row. By the way, this is the first time in the Hall of Fame career of Drew Brees he has had back-to-back games of throwing 3 interceptions. And oh, by the way, it's back-to-back games without a single touchdown.
No way anyone could have seen that coming with Drew Brees in this New Orleans offense.
First time the Buccaneers have won 5 straight games, going all the way back to the 2002 season. Tandy the hero again. And the Buccaneers go to 8-5, where they will stay tied with Atlanta atop the NFC's South. Each team at 8-5. Again, a reminder, those 2 teams will not play again this year. The Falcons and the Bucs. So for Charles Davis, Chris Spielman, and Peter Schwitzer, I'm Tom Brenneman saying so long from Tampa. We'll be sending you to the conclusion of the Seahawks and Packers.